Games never changes. And we never talk about those changes because they don't happen because of the first thing I said.
The ransomware group that hacked Insomniac games last week, Ricida, has published more than 1 terabyte of stolen data, including roadmaps, gameplay videos, and concept art, after Insomniac refused to pay the ransom, even though it's almost Christmas. The published data constitutes the vast majority of Ricida's trove, with the remainder, presumably including personal information about Insomniac staff, sold off. For that reason, we won't be going through every detail. We couldn't do that anyway because there's so much.
Don't worry, Dave, your information's safe. No one knows you live on 123 Galileo Lane.
For Dave's sake. Among the leaks is a roadmap of future Spider-Man, Venom, Wolverine, and X-Men games, and a Ratchet & Clank to shake things up. Gameplay demos of Wolverine doing what he does best, detective work, and a leaked pitch deck for the rumored multiplayer Spider-Verse game called The World Wide Web. I mean, the Great Web. It was a joke that was funny to me when I wrote it. Interestingly, copious leaks concerning Rocksteady's Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League have also hit the non-Spider related web, including gameplay videos and story spoilers. Let me guess, they don't kill the Justice League?
They don't?
That wasn't a real spoiler. I hope they do. But while Rocksteady addressed this development, tweeting to ask fans to refrain from spoiling the game, at the time of filming, Insomniac has only tweeted a fun clip from Spider-Man 2 with the caption, "Wingsuit time!" That's the ticket. Keep calm and carry on. I mean, it works so well for the boomers. The Last of Us developer Naughty Dog has announced that its in-development multiplayer spin-off, a much anticipated successor to the original game's Factions mode, has been canceled, even though it's almost Christmas. The studio explains that as they ramped up production of the game, they realized they would either have to transform into a live service company or continue their focus on single-player narrative games, because every multiplayer game now has to be an endless Ready Player One nightmare punctuated by expensive battle passes and exclusive co-branded skins sponsored by Pepsi.
For only 500 insert letter here bucks.
What kind of bucks you got? Following the news, fans and developers who worked on the game mourned and celebrated what it could have been. But when a screenshot of what was supposedly the game's main menu did indeed show a section dedicated to a battle pass, gamers started to realize this is probably actually a good thing because of the whole Pepsi skins thing I just mentioned. I am sad I won't get to play this new multiplayer game, but if it was going to be Fortnite The Last of Us edition, it's like being sad you weren't born in the Middle Ages so you could be a cool knight. Like it's not, you'd probably be a peasant. The finals developer, Embark Studios, has addressed the game's issues with controlling cheaters, sharing via Discord that a technical issue has prevented them from banning cheaters efficiently, which is a major problem if you're currently the hottest shooter around with more active players than Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, which my parents always said that I was. They were very supportive. Whenever I go to school, they'd be like, remember,
you're the hottest shooter around.
You got more active players. Thanks, Mom. Embark is making progress on solving the issue, but they also said they won't be region locking China-based players after claims that the majority of cheaters appear to be from China flooded Reddit and other forums. But despite all the complaints, some finals players appear to be having a great time, telling the haters to just play in casual instead of ranked mode. But that's got its own controversy thanks to the finals implementation of skill-based matchmaking, a controversial system that pairs up players that are closer in skill more often, leading to fewer one-sided quick victories and more edge-of-your-seat nail-biters. But what if you only want to sweat a moderate amount and trade a few brutal losses for the chance to feel like an ubermensch? Gaming shouldn't have to involve multiple changes of clothes.
I gotta put on my round 2 shirt.
Everybody better be changing their shirts. Excuse me, I have to change my clothes.
Now it's time for Quick Bits, brought to you by dbrand and their new X-Ray skins for the Nintendo Switch, PS5, Xbox Series consoles, and Steam Deck. dbrand's adhesive-backed vinyl skins are easy to install and remove with no adhesive residue. Perfect if you have a crippling fear of commitment, like me. dbrand's all-new X-Ray designs aren't stock images or stolen assets. Okay, dbrand literally hauled a bunch of phones, laptops, and game consoles to a specialized metrology lab and told them to get to work. That's where you study trains. The result is ultra-authentic scans that have been faithfully reproduced with high-quality prints, meaning even the finest details are on full display. X-Ray comes in both light and dark mode variants, but for a limited time, dbrand is offering you both for the price of one. Make that deal even sweeter. Go to mybossisveryshort.com and enter the code GAMELINKED to get 10% off your entire purchase. Ooh, you changed?
Yeah.
Yeah, you feel okay?
I feel great. Quick bits, nothing but quick bits. That's right, it's quick bits. Here we go. Avatar Frontiers of Pandora clearly isn't selling well because only 12 days after it first launched, its retail price has dropped by around 30 to 40%, depending on the retailer. That's despite being one of Ubisoft's best received titles in years, according to user reviews. But while you might feel bad for players who bought the game for the full $70 only last week, or developer Massive Entertainment for having their hard work go ignored, don't feel bad for Ubisoft. They made the decision to launch Frontiers of Pandora during the highly competitive holiday season with almost no marketing behind it. Like a distracted dad trying to let out a squeaky fart during the loudest part of the Christmas play. It's so difficult.
Excuse me, let me just reach my popcorn.
Sony is back on the patent wagon, this time filing for a system that dynamically changes the difficulty of a game based on player performance. I wouldn't necessarily call this an invention, since systems like this have existed many times before. For example, 2006 beat-em-up God Hand had a system that changed the difficulty based on your performance. Even better, God Hand let you hit enemies in the groin. Forget about dynamic difficulty, Sony. Bring back crotch kicks.
They've been lacking from games for like years.
Google is extending the deadline to add Bluetooth functionality to Stadia controllers by another year. The controllers could originally only connect via Wi-Fi until Google decided to make an online tool to activate the Bluetooth chip that was actually in the controller, but that hadn't been used since it was first set up with Stadia as a joke. That online tool was supposed to shut down by the end of December, but will now live on until the end of next year, allowing more Stadia controllers to connect to other, more alive services. David Szymanski, the developer of indie horror hit Iron Lung, has responded to critics who claim he's raising the price of the game from $6 to $8 because he just wants more money. He says, quote, "Yes, no f***ing shit. If I didn't want to earn money from them, I wouldn't charge money for them, the games." According to David, he feels that the game is worth $8, and if anyone disagrees, they can wait for a sale or, quote, go pirate it or something. Plus, it's not like he stopped working on games. Since Iron Lung, David has released the extremely well-received Chop Goblins, Doom-style... It's a Chop Goblin. A Doom-style FPS, and Squirrel Stapler, a game where you staple squirrels. He was a little abrasive in how he said it, but he basically just described the market, so. And this isn't really game news, but it's fine, just listen. The author of a Lord of the Rings fan fiction book, who goes by Demetrius Polychron, because that's only proper.
He's a transformer.
Is having a real Denethor moment. Back in April, Polychron sued the Tolkien estate and Amazon, claiming that the Prime Video series Rings of Power infringed the copyright of his Tolkien-based work, The Fellowship of the King. After he obviously lost, the Tolkien estate sued back and just recently won an order forcing Polychron to destroy all copies of his infringing works, both physical and digital, while also paying $134,000 in attorney's fees. Let's hope he actually casts them into the fire this time. Don't pull in a Isildur. Fool of a Took! He should get to keep one.
I am no man.
I'm a Cybertronian. As for you, don't you pull a Frodo and disappear on us. Meet us here at the Prancing Pony next week for more gaming news and beverages. It comes in pints.